Flosstube. Welcome back to Bumble Stitches. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube episode, need to check my notes, number 14. It's Sunday the 25th of April and it's really good to be back to share some stitchy updates with you all. I hope you've all been keeping well since the last time I saw you, which was 2 weeks ago. Things have been quite busy for me. The most notable thing that happened in the last 2 weeks was I got to see my mum again, which was just the best thing ever. I hadn't seen my mum since just before Christmas, sort of beginning of December. So that was lovely to go and see her. We took Jessie for a walk, so you'll have seen that in the little video in the intro. Did some doggy walks with Milo as well, so you'll see him as well in the intro. So there's been lots of that, lots of stitching. Managed to get my hair cut, which was long overdue. Just a bit of a trim, nothing I can never decide what to do with it, to be honest. So yes, that was nice to get back to the hairdressers. And of course there have been lots of new subscribers. So welcome if you're a new subscriber, and if you're returning, thank you very much. I suppose I should just give a quick refresh of who I am, a little bit about me, for those of you that are new to the Flosstube. So as I said, my name's Nicola. I live in the UK and I'm based on the east coast of England in the county of Suffolk, not far from the coast, just a couple of miles away from the coast, which is a lovely location to be in. I live with my fiance Justin and we have 2 daughters. My daughter Lulu, who is a grown-up daughter, and Justin's daughter Emily, who is at high school. So that's a little tiny bit about me. I'm just going to check my notes. I've got a lot to share with you this episode. I think it's going to be quite a long one, so make sure you've got your stitching or whatever you're working on, and make sure you've got a cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is you're drinking to hand, because I think it's going to be quite a long one today, and I will be referring to notes because I don't want to miss anything that I need to share with you all. In the episode today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my plans for Mania, Stitch Mania, which I wasn't going to do, but it's a stitcher's prerogative to change their mind, I think. I've got some giveaways, a couple of different giveaways today, details of my whips, some stitch alongs, and also a sad tale. Well, it's a good news and bad news tale. I settled down yesterday for a full day of sewing. So I thought I'd get my sewing. I had lots of fabric cut out for various different projects that I wanted to do. Wanted to make some project bags and do some quilting and just have a really nice sewing day all to myself and just, you know, thoroughly immerse myself in it. Well, fortunately, I prioritised the things that I wanted to sew and did manage to get something very important that I'll share with you later in the episode. I did manage to get that completed, but after that my sewing machine kind of decided not to play ball anymore, so my sewing plans were scuppered. The stitching was all over the place. It was just nesting underneath and skipping stitches, and the tension was wrong. I did as much sort of home troubleshooting as I could, cleaned it all out. There's so much fluff gathers under your sewing machine. If you haven't cleaned yours out recently under the throat plate, then do it, because I was shocked at how dirty mine was, and it isn't that long ago since I did it. Oiled it, rethreaded it, changed the needle, everything I could think of, but it just wasn't playing ball. So sewing machine is poorly and is heading off to the sewing machine hospital tomorrow. But the sad thing is it will be away for about 2 to 3 weeks, so there'll be no quilting for me. No project bags, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but it needs to be done, and Mum might come to the rescue and loan me her machine in the meantime if I get too desperate, so we'll see what happens with that. Okay, shall we get on with the episode? I'll just have a quick, ever such a quick drink. This looks like pink gin. I promise you it isn't. It's a raspberry and rhubarb cordial. I've popped in some cold water and it's really, really nice. But anyway, enough about that. I'm going to announce the winners of the giveaways from the last episode. And they were for the springtime patterns, which was the Country Cottage Needleworks Cottage of the Month, and this cute little wool applique pattern. All these patterns for this giveaway were donated by a lovely viewer, and the winner of these two is Sally Kidd. So Sally, congratulations. Drop me an email on my email address, which is down in the description box below, and I'll get these posted out to you. And the other giveaway was for the Flamingo Toes Singing in the Rain pattern and the Jardin Privé Spring Sampler pattern, and that has been won by Jazz Willow Sewing. I've got a little sticky note here, but I will put it on the screen so you can see. So congratulations to Sally and Jazz Willow Sewing. Do contact me with your not your email, your postal address, and I'll get these out to you. And thank you to everyone that entered. While we're talking about giveaways, I just need to chase up a couple of winners from Flosstube number 12, and I need to chase up Verpi R. You were the winner of Fascinating Facets quilt pattern, which was donated by Fat Quarter Shop. So Verpi R, if you can drop me an email on my email address in the description box below, and I'll get your prize off to you. And the other one from episode 12 is Andy Otero, and you were the winner of Santa Baby cross stitch chart, again donated by Fat Quarter Shop. So if you can contact me as well. Those last two winners, I'll give it until my next episode, which will be episode 15. If I haven't heard from you by then I'll redraw these. But so do get in touch so I can get your prizes out to you. I will lead now into my whips. For those of you not familiar, whips is works in progress, and I have a lot of whips going on at the moment, but I will just show you the ones that I've worked on actively in the past couple of weeks. So the first, I've got my little board ready, and I want to make sure I get this up the right way. The first one is Hands Across the Sea design. I'll just get the chart cover out, and it is this Spring Violets, which I'm doing as part of my hashtag Pocketful of Posies SAL. And again, a SAL is a stitch along, and lots of people have been joining in with that. So I have made a start on this one, just a small start, but I hope you can see that. I hope it's clear enough. Just a small start, and I'm stitching this on a 36 count, I think it's Edinburgh linen in cream, and using DMC threads. I'll just show you the threads. There's quite a lot of different shades, and I'm stitching this one strand of DMC over 2 strands of the linen cloth. I'm just trying to be more conscious of explaining some of the terms that we use on Flosstube, because not everybody is a Flosstube addict like me, and you might be joining in for the first time and not actually understand what all the jargon is. So yeah, I'm just thought I'd just help you along if you're not familiar with some of the terms that we use. Okay, so that's my first whip, and I'm going to actually put these away as I'm doing it, because as you know, I say at every episode, I just end up in a big old mess at the end. But yeah, I was a bit worried about this one because there's a lot of colour changes in there, but it is actually a really enjoyable stitch and so pretty. So that's one of the whips I've been working on. The next one is an oldie goldie, and I started stitching this. If I'd have brought my little cross stitch journal with me, I could have told you when. I've got a feeling it's probably almost a year ago that I started stitching this. Maybe not that much, maybe about sort of 9 or 10 months. But it's from Modern Folk Embroidery. Let's put it on here, and it's called Real Comfort, a Jane Austen sampler. And I'd got up to sort of like about here. I just really had the urge to stitch something monochromatic, and so this fits the bill. I'll show you the the pattern. This is what it will look like. It's from Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. Really pretty. Rachel at from Flosstube had completed hers a little while ago and showed it, and it was so pretty when it was all framed up. So that's what it will look like. As I showed you, that's mine. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Cashel even weave, which I think is a Zweigart fabric, and I'm stitching it all in one colour, 2 strands of floss over 2 even weave threads, and I'm using DMC colour. You can just grab it. I think it's, that keeps falling off there, let's pop that down. I think it's colour 317, but you can see it's just like a slate grey. I think it's going to use about 3 skeins of DMC. And it seems a little bit, I've moved on to slightly higher counts of fabric, and it seems quite big to be stitching on this. The stitches seem quite big, but I'm not going to let that stop me because I think it's such a nice design, and because it's so bold, I think it lends itself to being a little bit bigger. So I'll pop that one away. And then if you're a regular viewer, you will probably guess what my next work in progress is, because it makes an appearance every episode and will do at least for the rest of this year. So I hope you're not sick of seeing it. So let me grab my Anniversaries of the Heart, which is by Blackbird Designs, and lots of you will be familiar with this. Lots of people have stitched it and are stitching it, and I'm stitching on block 4, which is actually the block designated for March. And I thought I've completed the house actually. I think I've just got to do literally 1 row of stitches along here, just the sort of slate grey, charcoal grey stitches for the roof. This house was an absolute beast. I think if you had a reasonably proficient bricklayer, they could have built this house quicker than I've actually been able to stitch it. It just seemed to go on and on forever because it's sort of complete coverage even in the windows, but it's done now, and obviously I've got the hair and the little crock, so I just need to go up and build the vine. I'll show you the pattern so that you can see what I've got left to do. Yeah, so just from the crock the vine goes all the way across. There is a little bit of 1/1 stitching there for the words, and by 1/1 that means it's 1 strand of floss over 1 linen thread, so it makes the stitches half the size that they would be if you're going over 2 linen threads. So, and this block is going to be dedicated to Justin because he has a March birthday. Well, so do I, but I'm not going to put me on this one, I'm just going to put Justin on there. So that's my Anniversaries of the Heart. So it's coming along. I do need to try and get that block finished by the end of April so I can move on to the next one. I'm slightly out of sync, as I mentioned on my last episode, because I'm a block behind month-wise because you have the bonus block which sort of takes up a space. But that's fine. As long as I can get 1 block done a month, then I'll be pretty happy with that. Okay, I had some wonderful goodies arrive from Fat Quarter Shop. They do send me some patterns and products from time to time to review, which is very generous of them, and I will be sharing some of the items as giveaways as well. So let me just get organised so that I can show you what they've sent me this time and get them into some semblance of an order. Okay, I'm going to start with the biggest thing first, and they have sent me this amazing Bee's Knees book stand by Laurie Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. I had my eye on one of these. I saw these on Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube and on the regular Fat Quarter Shop quilting videos. and thought I must get one of those when they're available, and so for one to arrive as a gift from them was amazing. So thank you, Kimberly and team. I'll show you the back as well so you can just see how it's packaged. Really cute packaging actually. If you bought one of these for somebody as a gift with the gingham all the way around, I think it's a really nicely packaged product. Okay, let me show you what's inside. You've probably seen these on other floss tubes, but if I just turn it around, excuse the clanging and banging, it's actually quite heavy and I don't want to. Right, okay, so inside the box, I've taken the bubble wrap out. You will see the lovely stand. So I'll take it out and put the box down. Oh, there's a lot of juggling going on here today, juggling of things. Okay, so then you have the book stand. I love the Bee in My Bonnet logo here, and this edging and the shaping, really, really cute. It's got quite a deep lip, if you can see, where you can stand your projects on, you can stand a pattern on, but most importantly you can stand a book on this because it is so robust. So like one of Laurie Holt's quilting books, for example, Farm Girl Vintage, or my new Sew by Row quilting pattern book that I'm going to be using soon when the sewing machine comes back. Yeah, will sit in here nicely. It's got the easel back, so you can see it's really sturdy, and it means it will sit up nicely on your sewing table, cutting table, on your desk, in your kitchen, with a cookbook, anywhere you want to put it. Also be ideal if you wanted to, if you cross stitch near a table or somewhere you could put it, you could have your cross stitch chart on there, and because this is metal, your needle minders will stick as well. So super handy. So that is amazing. You can get these obviously on Fat Quarter Shop, and it's worth it if you're in any other country, just doing a Google search to see if any of your local sort of quilt shops are carrying these. But isn't it amazing? Okay, I'm going to pop that down carefully, try not to make a big clanging and banging noise with it. Okay, they also sent me some lovely patterns, and some of these are going to be for giveaways. So let's start off with the quilting patterns. This one is Stella, and the pattern gives you dimensions to make a table runner, a crib size, a lap size and a queen size quilt. So lots of options there. Uses fat quarters by the looks of it, and you can also use their triangles on a rolled paper for the half square triangles. So there's that one there, Stella. They also sent another quilt pattern, which is the Merry Making. I love this one. I like the simplicity of the blocks here, and the bigger blocks, it sort of goes in a row pattern. And they give you some ideas on the back for Christmas, Americana and Halloween designs to completely change it up. So that was another one they sent through. The rest are all cross stitch patterns. Stitchy Stars, I know that lots of people are stitching on this at the moment. This is a Laurie Holt pattern. I think Liz of Elizabeth Ann Stitch is stitching on this at the moment, and I'm not sure if there's a stitch along going, there might be, but beautiful pattern, quilt block style, really fun. It's obviously charted for the sort of like patriotic red, white and blue colours, but you could switch it up to anything that you wanted, and it's all charted in DMC as well, which is super handy. Following on from that, another Laurie Holt pattern is number 9 in the Prim Stitch series, which is Welcoming and Cheerful, and I'm stitching this series at the moment as well. So super pretty, again charted for DMC and Orifloss, and you don't have to stitch these as a whole pattern, you can just stitch these individually. There's still more. The next one is Home Sweet Home, and this is so pretty. This again is it's an It's So Emma pattern. This is a stitch along that has been running on Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube. I think it might be over, but of course you can still stitch it whenever you like. And this is charted in DMC as well. This is a little bit bigger than the other charts that I've just shown. This one is stitch count is 159 wide by 73 high. So you can see it's a sort of a horizontal aspect, sort of landscape aspect chart. And this model is stitched on a 14 count Ada with 2 strands over over the Ada squares, or you could stitch it on an even weave. So super pretty, that one as well. And finally, set H of the Laurie Holt Bee in My Bonnet stitch cards with all the little farmyard animals. These are adorable. I'll be telling you more about these later. We've got here, these are all inspired by Laurie's Farm Girl Vintage and Farm Girl Vintage 2 quilt blocks. So if you're familiar with those, you'll recognise that this is the Happy Horse, Milk Cow, Penny Pig and Woolly Sheep. And I just think they are so cute. So thank you Fat Quarter Shop, that was an amazing bundle of goodies to receive and all such beautiful products. Now I've got some giveaways among the products here. First up, and just before I show you the giveaway products, to enter the giveaway you need to be 18 years old because it's a physical product and I will need to ask you for your postal or mailing address. You need to be a subscriber of my Flosstube and like the video, and you need to enter a keyword that I'm going to give you for each pattern so that you can let me know which one you're interested in. And they're all chosen by a random generator that then I can just type in the word that's the keyword and it will pull up all the entries that mention that. You can enter for as many or all, but you will only win one. So hopefully that's all nice and clear for you. So the first one is Stitchy Stars, and the keyword for that one is star. The next giveaway is the Prim Welcoming and Cheerful, and your keyword to win this one is welcome. The next one is the Stella Quilt Pattern, and surprisingly the keyword is Stella, so be sure to spell it S-T-E-L-L-A-R. And finally we have Home Sweet Home, and the keyword to win Home Sweet Home is home. So when you put your comment, you can just put the word, you can put it into a sentence. Some of you are very creative with your sentences, but please don't use the word giveaway or win or anything like that, because it just encourages spammers to come into the comments and they might enter and win and they're not even interested in cross stitch, and we don't want that. There are a couple of stitch alongs coming up that I'm really excited to be joining in with, and the first you will probably all know about if you're a fan of Brenda and Laura from their Flosstube Brenda and the Serial Starter. You will know that on the 1st of May, which is next Saturday, they are holding a stitch along, which is the Blackbird Designs Weekend SAL. So who doesn't want to stitch a blackbird? I think everybody does. You've already seen my Anniversaries of the Heart, so that could definitely be included. But I've got a couple of new starts that I'm really excited to get going on next weekend. So I showed you the chart a few weeks ago because I was going to do it for the Strawberry Social and didn't quite get around to starting it. So I thought I'd definitely do it next weekend, and it's the Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Designs. This is the one where I mentioned that I wasn't actually much of a Beatles fan, which was met with sort of a 50-50 response in the comments of that episode. Quite a few people, I was surprised at how many people said, yeah, I'm not actually either. And there were obviously lots of people that are Beatles fans and couldn't believe that I wasn't. And I think Betsy of Betsy Clager mentioned it on her last episode. So I think Nikki of Nikki's Noodles had mentioned that she wasn't a Beatles fan either, so there are a few of us naughty non-Beatles fans about, but it doesn't detract from how beautiful the pattern is, and that's what this is all about. So Strawberry Fields Forever, Blackbird Designs, perfect for the stitch along. I have got, now where's my board? Where is my board? I've got some threads. These are all DMC. I sat yesterday afternoon and evening putting these all on floss drops. You can see how pretty they are. You can see the reds more there. The only colour that I'm thinking might be a little bit awry, if I can get to it, is this one is meant to be the DMC equivalent of Tin Bucket, which is a, let's have a look. Tin Bucket is a Gentle Arts thread. So we'll see. I might have to have a little fiddle around with that when it comes time to actually stitching it. I think the rest will be absolutely fine. And I actually have really hit up my local Hobbycraft for lots of DMC since the shops opened up again here in England. There were lots of patterns that I wanted to get on with, and the cost is prohibitive if you want to keep kitting up charts that've got quite a lot of threads and you want to keep getting fancy floss. It can get a little bit crazy really. So I love DMC. Everything I stitch in DMC I'm happy with, so I thought I'm just going to go with the DMC and then I can stitch more projects. So that was the thought process behind that. I've got my fabric ready. Now this is from my lovely friend Paula of the Snail Garden on YouTube, and she's Eva Faith on Etsy. And if I can just get this the right way up so I can show you her little tag as well. Me and this board are not getting on very well today. So this fabric is Paula's 36 count catkin. And again, the mottling shows up much more in this light and certainly in the camera lens than it does in real life. This is beautiful fabric. Did I mention it's 36 count? So I'll be stitching one thread, one floss thread over 2 linen threads. And I think that's going to work. See how the light's changing? I think it's going to work quite nicely for Strawberry Fields Forever. So that will be my exciting start next weekend for the Blackbird Weekend SAL. And I do have, I'm going to pop that in the bag. I'm going to use this one that I made in my little bag tutorial. I'm going to pop that in there, so that's all good to go. And the other one that I'm planning on doing is, I just need to fold this over so I don't show the chart off. It's from this lovely Winds of Autumn book that everyone went crazy for when this came out a couple of months ago. Probably before Christmas, so I've got no concept of time at the moment. And I'm going to be doing just a small, and it's this one, which is called Spell of the Moon. I love it. I love the little owl. I thought it'd be nice to get some little Halloween smalls. So again, I bought some DMC for this, and unsurprisingly, there's some black in there. It's very sort of olivey green, but the colour that I think is going to cause the problem, and I've closed the book up now, is this replacement here is DMC 3854 to replace Gentle Art Harvest Moon. And if I hold that there, I know this is through a screen, but you can see that colour is nowhere near the colour that's on the moon there. So I think I'll have to have a rummage around in stash and see what I can find that might be a little bit closer, because I think I'll be fine with the black and the khaki, not khaki, olive green. But yeah, it's way too bright and orangey to be fitting in there. So those are my projects that I'm going to be stitching on next weekend. And I can't remember, I'm not sure if it's the stitch along, if the stitch along is every first weekend of the month or if it's just this first weekend in May. But if you pop along to Brenda and Laura's Flosstube, I'm sure they'll explain a little bit more. And of course next weekend is a long weekend because we have the bank holiday Monday, so it's a 3-day weekend anyway, so that will be very exciting. The next stitch along that I wanted to mention to you is by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And Caterpillar Cross Stitch got in touch with me and told me about their upcoming stitch along, which is cool. And I was going to get my notes, so make sure I got all the right information for you. It's called Hello Sunshine, and it's their summer tree stitch along. It runs for 5 months, and they asked me if I would like to stitch along with them and share the products with you guys here and share my stitching on my Flosstube. So I said yes, it'd be lovely. I'd seen their previous trees. They did Hello Deer, which was the winter one, Hello Pumpkin, which was the autumn one, and Hello Petal, which was the spring one. I'll be popping some pictures up somewhere on your screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's a 5-month stitch along. The pre-order for the kit opens on the 30th of April, and there is a code that they've kindly given me to share with you all, which will give you 10% off if you choose to order a full kit. So I'll put the code on the bottom of the screen. The code is BUMBLE10. So that will give you a nice 10% saving. If you're a Facebook user, you can join their Facebook group for the stitch alongs, and they're actually holding a giveaway there at the moment, which I believe the giveaway is open until the 28th of April. So you can pop on there and enter yourselves, and you might even win a free kit. Now, I'll have a kit arriving soon, which I will share with you either on the next Flosstube episode or as a separate video, because I don't want you to miss out if you want to see the kit before you take the plunge. But it looks really exciting. The colours are lovely and vibrant. The theme is summery and zingy, and I think it's going to be a really fun stitch. So stay tuned for updates on that one. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I haven't missed anything. I'm going to quickly switch out all my things here and get in the next batch of stuff that I want to share with you all. So I'll be back in just one moment. I've got another giveaway for you today. As I mentioned, I hit 7,000 subscribers and totally in disbelief, but thank you all so much. It's just amazing to think that you all want to sit and join me when I have my little stitchy updates. So by way of a thank you, I said I would do a giveaway, and it took me by surprise last episode and I didn't have time to prepare. And as I sat down to stitch, or sort of sew up some things yesterday, it was just by pure luck that I started to sew on a little giveaway prize for you all first, before my sewing machine decided to fall ill on me. So I have made, as a giveaway prize, a project bag, and I've got this little lace detail here, and I've got a bit of fluff hanging there, which I shall remove immediately. On the back, just a little coordinating band of fabric and my little Bumble Stitches label. I just love this fabric with the roses on, and I have lined it with the same fabric that's on the back. It's got a bit of coordination going on. So I thought this would be the perfect bag if you were stitching up Winter Rose Manor, because of the lovely roses and the lace, and I just think it works perfectly. This pattern was part of the bundle of charts that was gifted to the Flosstube by a lovely viewer in the States. So thank you again, you know who you are. It's unstitched, it's pristine, and if you're not familiar with the chart, it's a stunner by Brenda Gervais. So there's the actual sampler, and she gives you instructions for the pin cushion as well on the back. So I thought they went really, really well together, really nicely together. I do like to coordinate a project in the bag, and I'm also throwing in a skein of the Weeks Dye Works thread in conch or conch. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but that's the colour that's used for the main body of the house. So these, the bag, the chart and the floss, are the 7,000 subscriber giveaway prize. So I hope you like it. I really enjoyed making the bag. I wouldn't have enjoyed it if it'd been the afternoon, because yeah, but I won't keep on about my poor sewing machine. So to enter the giveaway for that little bundle, please use the word rose in the comments. You can enter in addition to the giveaways earlier from Fat Quarter Shop. Same rules apply, and all the giveaways in today's episode are available to anywhere in the world. I will post them wherever you happen to be. So a big thank you again for subscribing. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please do, because this is just quite an amazing journey and I'm really so happy to be sharing it all with you. But please enter the giveaway, and I'll be announcing that in 2 weeks' time on my next Flosstube. I mentioned earlier I've decided that I'm going to do Stitch Mania. I've never done Stitch Mania before. I wasn't that big into cross stitch last May, but since then obviously it's completely taken over my life, and I did say I wasn't going to do Stitch Mania, but I've decided that I am, because I just can't resist when I see all the excitement with other people making their Mania plans. So mine has a little bit of a twist. I know there's lots of different ways to do Stitch Mania, but mine is going to be Lori Holt Mania. And I know that's not surprising for lots of you that know how big a fan I am of Lori's designs. So I've got 3 whips and 3 new starts that I'd like to get done in May. Now I've tried to work out the best way of doing it, and I think the best way for me will be to just literally divide up the days in May and sort of have about five-ish days on each project, and that way it will give me a nice little headway into each theme. So I'll start with the whips that I'm going to be working on, and then I'll show you the new starts as well, because it's all very exciting. Okay, the first whip is in my little bag that I made from Lori Holt fabric using the hands-on design Love My Stitching cross stitch pattern. I put my name on there. If you haven't seen this before, I stitched this a little while ago. And in here I have my, where is it? Sew by Row. So this was a stitch along run by Fat Quarter Shop that I didn't keep up with. I'm very much, as Nikki from Nikki Noodles says, a start along kind of person, but that's fine. So this one's coming out for my Lori Holt Mania, and I'll show you where I'm up to and my threads. My threads are all on the Beekeeper, which is gorgeous, all DMC. It's definitely the DMC show today, and I'll just get my little board and show you my progress. This hasn't been out of the bag for a while, so it'd be nice to get going on it again, so you can see where I'm up to. Done the scissors, done the tomatoes, and on the 3rd sewing machine. I'm leaving all the back stitch and all the little twiddly bits until the end, so it'd be nice to get cracking on that again. So that's project 1. And if you are doing Mania, let me know what you're doing in the comments, and if you want to join me, if you're a Lori Holt fan like me and you've got some whips or some new starts that you want to make. I know there's a chart that everybody's itching to stitch at the moment. If you want to join me in Lori Holt Mania, then please do. So that's my first project. My next project is another whip, in this bag again, which is made from Lori fabric, and this came from Paw Print on Etsy, and this is my prim and proper. Now I'll show you my chart, which is this one. Beautiful. And my progress, I was going great guns on this and then got distracted with other things, as you do, but that's okay. And I'm doing this on the, it hasn't been ironed, I do apologise. So I'm doing this on the Petty Point DMC 32 count Belfast linen, using all the called for Orifil Orifloss. So again, I'm about halfway done on this, so it'd be nice to, if I can put a good solid 5 days stitching into this, you never know, I might even be able to get a finish. So that's that one. And it is exciting because you start all these projects, don't you, with that level of excitement, then get distracted, and then when you get them out again, you remember exactly why you started them, because you love them. So it'd be so nice to revisit them. Okay, the next whip, before I show you the new starts, this is living in my little Union Jack bag that I made, inspired by Linda from Needlework from the Beehive. Hi Linda, I love this bag so much. Yes, she made a beautiful bag that I saw on Etsy, on Instagram, and when I went to her Etsy it was gone. I dithered, so I tried to recreate it as best I could. But anyway, in that bag was living my Prim Stitch series. You can see I am woefully behind on this. Haven't even finished block 5 and block 10 has just arrived. But it's okay, it will get done. It's beautiful, I still love it. And I'm stitching this with all the called for Prim Orifloss threads. So those are the whips that are going to be whip cracked in May for my Lorry Holt Mania. And I will show you my plans for the new starts. Let's just move the Orifloss box out of the way. Okay, I will be stitching, no surprise, I just showed them to you, the Stitch Cards Set H, which is the Farmyard Animals. And I thought they'd be a really good addition to my Lorry Holt Mania, because if I'm stitching these, I know I'm going to get a finish. I know I'm going to get a little finish. They are super cute. They are 34 stitches by 34 each, so they're all the same size. It's quite a limited palette of threads as well, which makes life a bit easier. So those are the DMCs there, all ready to go. I've left them quite long this time because I know I'll be stitching 2 over 2, so I've left them a bit longer. I never know how long to leave my threads on thread drops. Sometimes I do them quite short if I know I'm doing one strand, and sometimes I leave them a bit longer. It doesn't really make any difference, does it? And that will live in my my Lorry Holt strawberry bag. And this fabric here, this black and white gingham, I've got quite a lot of this, and I thought it would make really nice finishes for these little farmyard pillows. And I've got some, actually got some 14 count Ada in this bag, just like an oatmeal colour, and I thought that'd be perfect for those little farmyard animals. So I'm very excited about those. So that will be a new start. Can we talk about flea market flowers? I am obsessed, and I didn't order the pattern when I should have done. So now I find myself in a position with, and this is a very, I've got all the flosses. I've got a complete set of the DMC, all on floss drops, looking beautiful and pretty and delicious. But I have no pattern, which is a bit of a worry. I'm hoping to get one from So Hot UK. I think they're getting some in at the end of this month. I probably shouldn't have said that because I haven't got mine yet, and you're all going to go and buy it. If not, I'm going to have to order one from Fat Quarter Shop and just hope it gets at some point, gets to me at some point in May. So I've got all the DMC ready. I have got part of a bag made up. Did I mention that my sewing machine's broken? I think I might have mentioned it a couple of times. I started yesterday with the giveaway bag, and then I moved on to making a bag out of the lovely cheap print out of the Flea Market Flowers range. So I thought, oh, Flea Market Flowers needs a Flea Market Flowers or Flea Market fabric bag. So I got some batting in here and some backing fabric, and I was going to quilt this. And I've got the lining, which is from the same range, which I will show you. I'm going to line the bag with the Flea Market sort of low volume print, and then the sewing machine died. So yeah, you can see where this is going. This is like a bit of a doomed project. So I've got the flosses, I've got some fabric, which I'm going to show you in a moment, but I don't have my chart, and my bag is unfinished. So yeah, I was a bit sad about that. I wanted it all to be perfect and just so, but sometimes you get these little challenges, don't you? I'm sure it'll be all right, and I will manage by hook or by crook to get my hands on that Flea Market Flowers chart. So there's an extra little bonus project that I'm going to throw in. Let me just pop this down. And it came, again, I've mentioned a couple of times, from the big bundle of charts that my lovely viewer in the States sent to me. And it's this little one, Eat, Sleep, Stitch, Repeat. Another little Lorry Holt pattern. And this one, I think I'll stitch it up and make a project bag. I thought that was super cute. And it only uses 5 colours of DNC, which I can pull from stash. And I think I've got a little bit of fabric left from the first Love My Stitching bag. Yeah, I've got some, I think it's a 28 count Monaco or something like that. I can stitch that on, which will be lovely. So that is my Lorry Holt Mania. I'm so excited, I can't wait to start it. So May is going to be really exciting and very stitchy with the Blackbird Designs weekend from Brenda and Laura, and then straight into Mania. So I'm very, very pleased with all my things. I've got a little bit of haul to share with you now, and I'll just go through that. First thing I'm going to show you is a couple of pieces of fabric that I dyed, one of which I'm going to use for Flea Market Flowers. So I dyed some fabric, and the colours change immediately that you put it in front of the camera. They're much warmer than this. I'm trying to get a good representation for you. This is a 32 count Murano, which was white. I just picked it up as a pre-packaged piece in Hobbycraft. My Hobbycraft don't very often have very good needlework fabric, but when they do have something like this, I'll grab a pack just for emergencies. And this is a piece of 32 count Belfast linen that I bought that was, it was hand dyed, and it seems a bit sacrilegious to dye over it, but it was a little bit too pinky for me. So it was a half yard, so I cut it in half and thought, well, at least I've still got half of the original and half that I've dyed. I used a combination of Dylon dyes, which is kind of probably the UK equivalent of Rit dye. And then I also got impatient with that taking and started dumping loads of walnut crystal dye in as well. So yes, I'm pleased with the outcome. This one I'm thinking will be nice for Flea Market Flowers. Let me just grab my flosses again. I thought that would be nice for Flea Market Flowers. Thought they'd work quite well on there. So that's handy. And this one, I thought, I didn't have anything in mind for it. You can see I've got a few spots up here where my dyeing isn't perfect, and a bit of a line going across here. I think this part of the fabric actually is better, but kudos to fabric dyers. They do a brilliant job. It's not as easy as you think it would be. This I think might be nice when I kit up and start stitching my Winter Rose Manor. I think that might go quite nicely on there. So that was fun, having a little play around with some fabric dyeing. And some incoming stash. I got chart number 10 in the Prim Stitch series, which is Love and Friendship. I love this kitty on here. I'm going to turn him into, I mentioned a few episodes about the little cat that visits us. He was Batman, he's now Bruce, after Bruce Wayne, because we know him a bit better. So I think I might turn that into little Bruce. So that came from Fat Quarter Shop. I've got a couple of PDF charts that I downloaded. The first, I love this. Christina's done it again. Christina from Whilst Iris Snaps. This is Matilda's drum. And when she showed it on her Flosstube, I was hit pause and straight on and bought it. It's so, so pretty. I'm yet to make a drum. I was planning to do one, but of course the sewing machine broke, so that's on hold. I'd even bought the ground walnut shells to stuff it with. Anyway, I digress. Christina, I believe, has or is in the process of charting a big sampler, but used this motif from that big sampler to make into Matilda's drum. It's so, so pretty. So that's available on her website. The next chart that I downloaded is this Clarissa Beaumont 1875 by Little Robin Designs, and I think everybody and his dog have fallen in love with this, and everyone, his dog and his cat probably. I think it was Laura from Brenda and Laura that shared this on her Instagram, and I think everyone in the cross stitch world went mad when they saw it. It is just so, so pretty. It's just a combination of the alphabet, the colours, the cat and the dog are just so cute, and it was a must-have. So I don't know when I'll get round to stitching it, but I will soon. And Little Robin has also got a Flosstube that you might like to check out as well. I'll see if I can put a link down below. So that was a couple of charts that I bought, and I also went to because, as I mentioned, the shops are now open, the non-essential shops are open here in England again. I popped into our local charity shop to see if I could find any things for finishing, and I managed to find a nice little framed piece, which in and of itself is really pretty with these pansies, but I thought it would be nice this way for the Cross Stitch Nation. I haven't double checked the measurements, but I think, just from eyeballing it, I think it might be just the right size for Cross Stitch Nation, which is the heartstring samplery piece with the people across here that I shared a couple of episodes ago. So I'm hoping that will fit. It's actually a really nice quality frame. It's from a professional framers. So yeah, I think that will go nicely in there, and we'll see if it needs a little bit of tarting up. So that was a little bargain from the local charity shop. I have exhausted everything that I wanted to show you today, and thank you if you've stuck with me till the end. There will be no quilty, there's no quilty news because sewing machine, but hopefully I'll be up and running really soon with that. I'm going to leave you today with a pocket full of posies stitch along gallery. There are some images from Instagram that have used the hashtag, and there are some images that people have emailed to me. This will be the last pocket full of posies gallery. It's been lovely seeing all your stitching, and do keep uploading them to Instagram, and do keep stitching along with it. It takes up quite a lot of time to organise the gallery, so this will be the last one today, but I hope you've enjoyed seeing everybody stitching. So I'll leave you with that and wish you a happy 2 weeks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.